Sometimes history does not remember those who lost in war. But what about the stories that never even began? Those stories that are born in silence, deep in the forest where no one is there to listen. Sometimes those very stories leave the deepest impression. The names of such heroes are neither echoed in cheers, nor are temples built in their honor. Yet the tale of their sacrifice, the glory of their devotion, sometimes leaves such a profound mark that even their silence echoes through the ages. And today we bring you the story of such a hero who had neither a royal court nor a guru's blessing. All he had was an idol, and before it, his faith, and that very faith became his education, his weapon, his religion. This is the story of a warrior whose sacrifice everyone remembers, but the pain hidden in his tale still remains unknown to many. This is the second chapter of the great warrior of the ages, Eklavya, a name that became immortal even in defeat. This is the story of Eklavya, the son of the Nishad king, whose childhood was spent amidst the forests. An ordinary forest dweller, but his dreams were to reach the pinnacle of archery. His goal was to learn from Dronakarya, the teacher of the princes of Hastinapur. When Eklavya went to Hastinapur, his eyes were filled with faith and his heart with hope that perhaps Drona, seeing his dedication, would accept him as a disciple too. But society had its own rules. Caught in the web of caste, lineage and politics, Dronakarya told Eklavya, "I do not teach the art of weapons to anyone except the princes." But Eklavya neither complained nor protested. He went back to the forest and made a clay idol of Dronakarya. He considered that idol his guru and devoted himself before it. Day and night he practiced with his bow and arrows with unwavering dedication. The forest became his gurukul and nature his classroom. Without any help, without a human teacher, he learned the art in the name of Dronakarya, through the strength of his inner spirit. A few years later, when the Kauravas and Pandavas came to the forest one day to hunt, their dog wandered near the target Eklavya had set up. At that moment, Eklavya shot arrows in such a way that he closed the dog's mouth without harming it. And he did it so skillfully that the dog wasn't even hurt. Seeing this scene, the Pandavas and Dronakarya were astonished. When Dronakarya asked who had shot these arrows, Eklavya bowed and said, "I am your disciple, Gurudev. I considered your statue as my teacher and learned archery." What happened next became a dark chapter in history. On one hand, Dronakarya was a teacher, but on the other, he was also the royal guru. He knew that Eklavya was the son of the Nishad kingdom, and the Nishad kingdom supported Magadha. There was political tension between Magadha and Hastinapur. Valor was fundamentally supported. Dronakarya felt this deep inside. If a brave warrior like Eklavya were to gain mastery in archery, this skill could potentially be used against Hastinapur. He thought, the knowledge that he has acquired through my image might one day turn him into my adversary. And then the guru asked his disciple for his finger, his right thumb. Eklavya was astonished, but he did not utter a single word. He neither questioned nor protested. He simply smiled, cut off his thumb, and placed it at Dronakarya's feet. He neither cried out in pain nor broke down from humiliation. There was only one thing in his eyes, devotion to his guru as an offering. People say that Dronakarya asked for Eklavya's thumb because he wanted his prince Arjuna to become the greatest archer in the world. But the real reason was much deeper. This was politics. This was a social system. It was a truth that is often suppressed, that sometimes the guardians of knowledge themselves become afraid of that very knowledge when it appears to spread beyond established boundaries. But Eklavya never made a fuss about his love, nor did he protest, nor did he harbor any feelings of revenge. He went back and continued to perfect his aim with his arrows, even without his thumb. It is said that for the rest of his life, he never used his archery skills against anyone. His dedication became his dharma. His sacrifice became an ideal, one that remains immortal for all teacher-student relationships. Today, we remember Arjuna, but Arjuna became who he was because Eklavya gave up his thumb. We believe that victory is only what happens in front of everyone. But sometimes the greatest warriors are those who lose for the sake of their teacher. Eklavya is still alive today. he lives on in every student who creates their own Gurukul in the midst of the forest for their dreams, in every learner who pursues knowledge with passion beyond the conventions of society, and in every hero who gives everything without asking for anything in return. This was the second chapter, Eklavya, a hero who had neither a chariot nor royal lineage, who obeyed his teacher's command but never questioned that teacher. An unforgettable character in the tales of the greatest warriors of all ages, whose being forgotten is not just an insult to the person himself, but also to the dedication that truly makes a disciple great. In the next Agni story, you will meet a warrior whose every agreement was a line drawn against righteousness, who stood firm before time, behind his word, and against the entire system for the sake of his self-respect. Because these are not just stories, these are the memories of those heroes who have remained hidden for ages. Now the time has come for their names to echo once again.